Hi everyone, so today we're gonna do another Pokemon related video, but I'm gonna show you what is in my Vault X binder. This binder is used for anyone who don't really collect Pokemon. It's where people put their Pokemon cards in. So I do want to have a disclaimer for people who are watching. I don't have this binder is not filled of just super ultra rares and everything. It's just there are some common cards, but it's just I'm going to show you how I kind of decorate and design the binder, because overall this binder for me, especially this orange binder, which is the color like Netherlands' favorite national color, is just to represent my time being addicted to Pokemon and also my time in the Netherlands. So with that said, I am going to start recording. You're not gonna see me most of the time, but yeah, I just wanted to share what's in my binder. Alrighty, so welcome to my first page. So I wanted to commemorate my re-addiction to Pokemon cards on the first page, which was Paldean Fates. So yeah, so I always put Pawmi in the center, and then I just surrounded like a bunch of Pokemons that I enjoy when I was playing Scarlet. So of course, you know, I got the Professor of Research from Scarlet, of course Fido, Dachsbun, Tatsugiri, Lapras, and I always keep Starly is always a memory for me because the first era, I guess the first generation I ever played was Sinnoh, and then Lechonk, because of course Lechonk. And this is the art rare in Paldean Fates, which is a Pawmi. I'm going to zoom in and show you quite exactly what it looks like in the details, but this art rare, since there's not a lot of art rares in Paldean Fates, this became worth like nothing, but it is so beautiful in person. Alright, welcome to my second page. So there's a lot of commons, and I'll show you the way I designed it. So let's start from the left. I have the evolution line of Gardevoir. I love Gardevoir. I'm pretty sure a lot of people do. And I was so happy I got this one because this was my chase card for Paldean Fates. I know a lot of people like special illustration rares, but for me, it was Gardevoir. But I believe Gardevoir also has a special illustration rare. I just wasn't able to pull it. These are just some random balls, and I decided to put all the Wattrels together because I kept pulling them in Paldean Fates. And then Azumarill, because I love Azumarill. So in this side, it's a bunch of psychic type Pokemons and also fairy type, but you know, in the trading games, they got rid of fairy type and just stuck to psychic. Anyways, this was my chase card for Paldea Evolve, which I was so happy, but it's a Mismagius and reminds me of a time in Sinnoh. And honestly, I'm going to zoom into this, but the artwork for this is gorgeous. I feel like it's going to be worth a lot in the future, but this is my personal collection, so yeah. Welcome to the next page. So I decided to put all my fighting cards that I pulled in Paldean Fates together with a little bit of fire types on the sides. So this is my only baby shiny I pulled, which is a Lucario. And like I said earlier, Sinnoh was my starting game, and I did have a shiny Lucario on my team, so it just worked out perfectly. So yeah, and if you pull Paldean Fates, you know you're gonna get a lot of these primates. And then my first double hit in a pack was this one with the boss's order and the Mismagius. So I decided just to make this look really pretty by putting a bunch of supporters in the middle, on top and bottom, with some water types. So yeah, pretty cool. Alright, so as you can tell, I design my pages just on how it looks rather than by numbers. So I decided to just do a purple and yellow thing together, and it worked out pretty well. So here's a bunch of Psychic type Pokemons and Electric type Pokemons together, and I believe this was Paldean Fates and also a little bit of Paradox Rift. So yes, and it was so cool. I was looking for a Latios and I pulled it, so that was pretty amazing. Alright, so this is my normal side Pokemons. But in the middle is the Maushold. I remember I pulled this card and I was so happy. I was like speechless because it was just so beautiful. And honestly, I can still stare at it all day, and it's my favorite artwork so far. I didn't even know it existed in Paldea Evolve, so it was so nice to just randomly pull it. So yeah. Alright. So this is me. On this side is just a bunch of stadium items, just a bunch of trainer cards next to some dark type. I just feel like the vibe of this is really nice, but I think majority of these cards are just common or a little bit uncommon cards as well. Alright, now let's look over here. This was my first gold card I ever pulled. I think this is Paradox Rift Beach Court. It's my first time seeing, I think, textured colors, but also just in general gold card. So I decided just to focus that and put around it just common grass type Pokemons. So yeah. So yeah. And I think, fun fact, like Paradox Rift, I think you can only get one hit per pack. So it was pretty glad that I got that. I was losing hope. I think Paradox Rift has not been treating me very well, so I was excited to pull a gold card. Alrighty, so this is the next one. So these are more of my extra cards, but I pulled an EX from Paldean Fates, and it's Espathra. I wish I was able to pull the shiny version, but I didn't, but I'll take it still, because Espathra was also in my team. I know a lot of people are not a fan of it because it looked like Lady Gaga or a Karen, but honestly, it's pretty cool to have an ostrich Pokemon. And then yeah, just surround it with a bunch of oranges just to make sure the Espathra popped out. And I know you were eyeing this, but this is another gold card that I was able to pull in Paldea Evolved. And this is the Chien-Pao. Chien-Pao is actually not my favorite one of those mythic Pokemon. I wanted the Chipu, the goldfish, but alas, I was unable to pull it. But it was cool to pull the Plusle and Minun to each other. And then it just surrounded with a bunch of supporters as well. I was pretty lucky to pull the Paldean students in the Scarlet version and the Violet version. These are not the full arts. I know a lot of people who open like a bunch of packs keep pulling them, but I honestly have not been able to pull them. Alright, I think we're getting towards the end of my Paldean Fates journey, but I got the tin and of the Iron Treads, and these are just some cards that I pulled from them. So some EXs, but majority commons. This was my second chase card. So after pulling Gardevoir, I was like, oh my goodness, I want to pull an Alakazam. And it was, lo and behold, it was in the last pack in the Iron Treads tin. So I was so happy. And yeah, so then after I pulled this, I was like, I'm done with Paldean Fates. Alright. So this next page is just a bunch of commons. I did like a 3-color way. And then here I just did a bunch of like oranges and red, putting in the middle of Tyranitar because I did use Tyranitar in my Scarlet run-through gameplay. But yeah. So again, more common cards. So I'm not going to spend too much time on them, but I just put a bunch of stuff as time passes together, aesthetically pleasing. I did want to have the borders to be green, green, green. So, and then I worked with the sides later. All right. I think this is majority Paldea Fates, some Scarlet and Violet base set, but also I believe Paradox Rift. So I'm telling you, Paradox Rift was not nice to me. I think the best Pokemon card that I got was Bombardier. So I decided to put in the middle and then just threw in a bunch of my common cards together. And I believe this is the same as well. So this is another set, Paradox Rift. I told you Sinnoh was my starting game, so it was so nice to pull a Palkia. But yeah, just a bunch of common cards. I think another round of a bunch of common cards, but I believe this is Paldea Evolved and a little bit of Paradox Rift. So a bunch of common cards as well. So nothing special. Alright, so this was my last pack magic, I guess, of Paldea Evolved, and I was able to pull a Grusha full art. This was so beautiful to pull, and I pulled a Jet Energy with it. I believe that's a playable energy. So yeah, and then these are just a bunch of Paradox Rift and Paldea Evolved. As you can tell, this is a Black Star promo card from Temporal Forces. So there are some Temporal Forces here. I did pull some packs, but I didn't pull a lot because the rest I will be opening those packs with my friend. So yeah. So as you can see, the next page is majority Temporal Forces. And let me tell you, the rates are rough. However, I was actually able to get some of my cards I was chasing. It's pretty common, but I wanted a Keldeo, so that was pretty cool. I was able to pull that on my first set, which made me happy. Alright, as you can tell, we have moved away from Temporal Forces in a little bit. This is all Temporal Forces. But this is next few pages is very important to me because my boyfriend got me 151 and Temporal Forces as a gift for me for our anniversary. So yeah, he got me the Alakazam box, which, if you know, in the Netherlands, 151 is so hard to find. And a lot of stores like to sell them really high on top of the rates being completely terrible. Anyways, he got me the Alakazam box, so I put these 3. And for people who are not into the Pokemon card game world, Kadabra was like banned or not printed for a really long time, so I'm glad to have it back, and especially in the holo. Wartortle is my boyfriend's favorite Pokemon, so I have to put him in the center. So yeah, these are just a bunch of common cards. He gave me a Temporal Forces, and this is a very accurate portrayal of opening Temporal Forces. So a bunch of commons, but some holos and reverse holos, but nothing special. And here is more 151s. So yeah, I'm not gonna speak more about it because these are mostly common cards. I didn't pull anything rare, but the Chansey is so cute. Alright, and this is my last page that was filled with Pokemon cards, but this is my last 2 packs of 151, and this is what I was pulling. I've noticed that I pulled so many Bellsprouts, but I'm not complaining. Flareon is actually one of my favorite starter Pokemon, and also Caputo, so it was pretty cool to pull that on my last pack. But yeah, so that concludes my Alt X binder. Then I can't wait to continue filling this up. I believe I have more Paldea Evolves and then the Temporal Forces that I'm going to open with my friend. But other than that, thank you for watching and just listening to me talk about my vault binder. And yeah. Alright, thanks for watching.